Welcome to lesson 013 of Online School of Entrepreneurship. I am Dr. Kirian Mfam. In today's lecture, we will dwell on the similarities and differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. Upon completion of this lecture, our audience will be able to 1. Explain the similarities between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur, and 2. Explain the differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. Introduction. To understand the similarities and differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur, let us do some conceptual justifications to both terminologies, including their adjectives, which are entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. In 1992, the American Heritage Dictionary acknowledged the popular use of a new word, intrapreneur, to mean a person within a large corporation or organization who takes direct responsibility for turning an idea into a profitable finished product through assertive risk-taking and innovation. Intrapreneurship, therefore, is the act of behaving like an entrepreneur while working within a large organization. Again, intrapreneurship is known as the practice of a corporate management style that integrates risk-taking and innovation approaches, as well as the reward and motivational techniques that are more traditionally thought of as being the province of entrepreneurship. On the other perspective, an entrepreneur is a person who takes a considerable amount of risk to own and operate a business with the aim of earning returns and rewards from that business. An entrepreneur is the most important person who envisions new opportunities, products, techniques, and business lines, and coordinates all the activities to make them real. Again, entrepreneurship, according to Onoha 2007, is the practice of starting new organizations or revitalizing mature organizations, particularly new businesses generally, in response to identified opportunities. Having done justice to the concepts of entrepreneur, intrapreneur, intrapreneurship, and entrepreneurship, what are the similarities and differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur? Similarities between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. Morris and Kuratko 2002 are of the opinion that the literature is sometimes confusing in understanding what exactly makes an entrepreneur different from an intrapreneur and what they have in common. This is why they point out a series of similarities and differences. Some similarities between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur are: 1. Both involve opportunity recognition and definition. 2. Both require a unique business concept that takes the form of a product, process, or service. 3. Both are driven by an individual champion who works with a team. 4. Both require that the entrepreneur be able to balance vision with managerial skill, passion with pragmatism, and proactiveness with patience. 5. Both involve concepts that are most vulnerable in the formative stage and that require adaptation over time. 6. Both entail a window of opportunity within which the concept can be successfully capitalized. 7. Both are predicated on value creation and accountability to the customer. 8. Both entail risk and require risk management strategies. 9. Both require the entrepreneur to develop creative strategies for leveraging resources. 10. Both involve significant ambiguity. 11. Both require harvesting strategies. Differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. The ways in which entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs work are similar, yet differentiable. An entrepreneur has full liberty over his decisions, which he uses to envision and create the company and its products from scratch, while an intrapreneur experiences less liberty but a broader vision in decision making, as he is entitled to create a new product for a brand that already exists and can also capitalize on its existing brand equity and positioning. The following points may clear the difference between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. 1. Independence. An entrepreneur is independent to take any decision for his company. He may or may not consult anyone before taking any decision. However, an intrapreneur usually reports to the owner and other top officials and is usually dependent on them. 2. Risk. An entrepreneur is always at risk to lose everything he has invested in the company, whereas the risk of new products developed by entrepreneurs are usually borne by the company. 3. Funds. An entrepreneur has to struggle with fund generation, and there are cases when the startup failed because entrepreneur could not generate enough funds for its survival. Funding is not much of a problem in entrepreneurship. They get the fund if the company feels it's necessary. 4. Relationship with the business. In the early life of a startup, the entrepreneur and the business acts as one. The entrepreneur and the startup cannot be separated. However, the entrepreneurs often lack this relationship with the company they work with. 5. Employment status. An entrepreneur is a person who establishes his own business with an innovative idea or concept. An employee of the organization who is authorized to undertake innovations in product, service, process, system, etc. is an intrapreneur. 6. Approach. An entrepreneur is intuitive in nature, whereas an intrapreneur is restorative in nature. 7. Enterprise status. An entrepreneur works in a newly established company. On the other hand, an intrapreneur is a part of an existing organization. 8. Dependency. An entrepreneur is his own boss, so he is independent to take decisions. As opposed to intrapreneur who works for the organization, he cannot take independent decisions. And 9. Nature of work. The entrepreneur works hard to enter the market successfully and create a place subsequently, in contrast to intrapreneur who works for organization-wide change to bring innovation, creativity, and productivity. In the course of this lecture, and in line with our instructional objectives, we were able to 1. Explain the similarities between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur, and 2. Explain the differences between an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. If you have difficulty in understanding any topic on entrepreneurship, do please send us a message on Facebook so we can research and help you out. Go to our Facebook page, Online School of Entrepreneurship, and study entrepreneurship at no cost. Support us by following, liking, commenting, and sharing our posts and videos. Please do follow, like, comment, and share our videos. Thank you, and see you in our next lecture.